Namaste and welcome to Shri and Kira Explore the Mysteries.
Wow, Shri and I are just sitting here truly awestruck at the energy of this moment. And my heart, Shri's heart, reaches out to you and says thank you. Thank you for joining us here during Explore the Mysteries. This is an extraordinary moment ahead of us. And the September moment has so much that literally I was sitting at a table earlier today with everything spread out. And Shri's comment was, Kira, this is vast.
we are at a time where the deeper you look, the vaster it gets. And what Kira is laughing about is that as we tune into the energies of this time, the more we look at this, the more far-reaching and the effects that we're noticing. And it's getting a bit of a challenge to encapsulate that into a conversation rather than simply be with it as a wow.
Yeah, and here we are. Now, guys, we just want to first and foremost share that you can catch us today, of course, at onenesstalkradio.com, where you can chat in the chat room, where you can listen audio, or where you can watch our video as well. You can also grab us at tfrlive.com, and we give a big warm welcome and hello to everyone that's tuning in at tfrlive.com. And, of course, Shri, where else are we?
Well, we're at the Oneness Talk Radio YouTube channel, the
All
Oneness
right.
Talk Radio Facebook channel, and the Oneness Talk Radio homepage.
Well, we're just Oneness Talk Radio, all right? So there's your easiest form of connection, I think. But hey, no matter where you are, I see that we already have our call board filling up. So let me give you that number.
Hey,
yeah.
There's room for you.
Absolutely.
Give it a ring.
Absolutely. Get in there now. You can listen to the show while you're on hold. 517-208-1500. Again, that is 517-208-1500. And we sincerely enjoy it when we are able to be with you. And so thank you for joining us on this September moment. Now, guys, today is really a blossoming moment. And what I mean by a blossoming moment is that if you are catching us live, it is August 31st. And August 31st is sincerely one of those moments where, and forgive us, my husband is very distracted because our call board seems to be working just fine now.
Not
okay.
distracted
All
at all.
right. Okay.
So here we are at the first of, almost at the 1st of
Right.
September.
It's August 31, and that's the point.
And this is an important thing because
Yeah,
August is finally anchoring. This is one of those moments where the calendar is coinciding fairly strongly with the energy. Because remember, energies are fluid, and sometimes the calendar is mostly corresponding, but the energies go outside the parameters. But today we are in an anchorship moment of really calling in the final wisdom and the knowings of August.
Well, actually, the wisdom is September.
That's right.
And that is
bringing
what's
it forward.
moving us forward, because remember that August was about choice.
Yes.
And so we are in a moment right now where the bridge has appeared. Now, let's talk about what that really means, because as Shri and I were discussing just a little bit earlier in the show, there is so much coming right now. There is so much in front of us that for the first time ever, I kid you not, I have had to sit down with pieces of many different ensoulments that have come in from the Divine Director. So what Shri and I have done is we delayed putting out our September predictions video. It was going to be out yesterday. It will be out either tonight or tomorrow for sure. We're doing it a little differently this month because there has been so much information coming in that was very much, not quite in real time, but pretty much like a week ahead of time. Mm-hmm. It seems that this information channel through the Divine Directors keeps coming in about a week ahead of time. And then when what that information was referring to appears, Shri and I have just been able to start putting all those pieces together. So this is why the September revelations are a little different. And if you are catching us in real time, we have not yet posted that video at YouTube. But again, it will be up at YouTube at Official Shri and Kira within the next 24 hours. So make sure you keep checking for that as well.
And we are at this fabulous time where we're not only bridging worlds and dimensions, but we're bridging calendars and concepts. And we're going to talk more about the whole understanding of bridging as we get into the show a little further, because September brings us that energy more fully forward. The thing I want to offer to you is take a minute and really just integrate that which has gone before. That which has gone before, meaning the fabulous ride we have been sharing since, actually for me, what's most prevalent is since June. Because we brought in this core energy and we moved into the retrograde, and I'm not going to recap all of that, but September is going to get even more, a little more wild.
Well, it actually, this is kind of like one of the energies is that they're calling it the wild ride, and this is what you and I were talking about earlier,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
because this wild ride is going to be one of those where it will be amazing. I mean, one of those rides where you're like, can I do this forever? And the answer is yes, you actually can. But it can also be one of those rides where you're like holding on saying, when will this end? And so this is a rich moment of energy. And what's so rich about it is that the balance. Remember we had, this is why Sri and I went with this graphic again. So remember that we had this moment of balance that was coming forward, and when the Lion's Gate opened in August and all of those other momentums and energies that came forward. Well, during that time, wisdom and balance were first discussed by the divine directors. And as a matter of fact, Sri, let's read just that one little piece. Let me offer that to you. There we go. And this is also going to be in the video.
And so it's important that we take a moment to really tune into what is being shared here, because this comes from a very pure source. Wisdom and forgiveness arise like the sun in the morning when we love ourselves enough to witness the awareness of ourself as the compassionate mother. I just like to hang out with that for a moment.
You know, you read my mind. I mean, really breathe that in, because let's us not forget that August was what? It was the month of that Kali Ma, that month of that relaxation into the truth of who we are with an empowered, compassionate experience. And it was ultimately bringing us to what? This moment choice.
Yes.
Because what is September? Let us not forget that September begins as an awareness energy pulse. And that is, of course, going to be the pulse beat, or kind of like the heartbeat behind this wisdom as the bridge. And we're going to be talking a lot more about that later in the show. And of course, a lot more about that tomorrow, because there's more here.
Yes.
And I think this is important to pay attention to, because we've all been prepped for what's coming in September, and it is going to be a wild ride. And there is a way to not only have fun through the ride, but to actually harvest the bounty, right? Let's not forget that September is the month of harvest. It's a month of celebration. It has the equinox. I mean, this is a bountiful month. And so everything is going to be bountiful.
And as we move into this harvest time, pay attention to what you are harvesting.
Oh, absolutely. So let's keep going,
All right.
Sri.
So back to tuning into this wonderful transmission. This gift of self-witnessing lifts us into the depth of experience as love in motion through form. The witnesser that ascends through the choice before them as the witnessing expresses greater radiance and balance as the toxic masculine surrenders into the ascended, empowered ascended mother. I want to go back. I want to read this again, because there is a lot right here.
It's so rich, isn't it?
You know,
and this is so important. And stay with us. Feel what we're going through with you right now. Stay on this journey, because this is what's building into that wisdom bridge.
So the gift of self-witnessing lifts us into the depth of experience as love in motion through form. The witnesser that ascends through the choice before them as the witnessing expresses greater radiance and balance as the toxic masculine surrenders into the empowered ascended mother. This is the essence of the miracle Lion's Gate propulsion that has now come forward, a proactive, empowered energy of upliftment for those who choose, or for the empowered ego of absorption for those who are claiming greater density.
Breathe that in, because that's where we're at right now. And this is what is so powerful about what they're sharing, because having arrived at this moment, there was a recognition that September is a very cosmic month. As a matter of fact, according to the divine directors, they have shared with Shri and I what they call the 5 cosmic components of September, and that is all in the video that is going to be out in the next 24 hours. So make sure you go to YouTube and watch that video. These 5 cosmic components are coming forward because the balance of the choice is igniting wisdom as the bridge. Now, this is important to recognize because it's not just happening as something you would want or your mind might want to celebrate. And why is that? Because if everything is coming into balance, I'm just going to do this again and send you here, right? And remember, we talked about what's going on with this energy. If everything is coming into balance, then everything is being given this opportunity to discover this bridge, which means that what has happened, and we are going to be spending all of tomorrow's show on this, okay? But we just wanted to kind of give you a head start on this. This month of September is going to be an active expansion where you will really have the opportunity to bridge all the way between the 7th and the 9th, or between the 3rd and the ever jellifying oneness of the 4th with the 3rd. And so it's a very extraordinary, rich moment and dance in front of us.
You know, I really want to jump in for a second.
Please
on that
do.
Jellifying 3rd and 4th.
It's goopy, huh? You feel it? I feel it. Nasty.
You know, sometimes when we say 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, you go, okay, that sounds rather scientific. You know, but in reality, these two, call them strata of existence, or strata of consciousnesses, are closely tied together. The 4th dimensional frequencies are Earth-centric.
Right.
They're very much organized around the density experience of taking birth on Earth, but they're disincarnate energies. And yet they have very much that personality and the energy flow that could cohabitate with the incarnated form of the 3rd dimension. So what happens when the two come together is the energetic of the 4th starts to accelerate the polarity, the density, the experience of the ego that has chosen density. And that's just what the divine directors were sharing. The empowered ego of absorption for those who are claiming greater density.
Now, you know, absorption would be 24-hour news cycles, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about that. I mean, and really, you know, I think we've shared with you guys many years ago that we were given from the Ascended Masters what they called the primer of the codes. And they said the primer of the codes is to read them basically one kind of little segment at a time. And that's why Shri and I are doing that. So really feel into that and what he's sharing with you right now, because Shri, I want to go to another segment. And here's why Shri and I are reading these. And again, all of these little segments are going to be in our video for this month. But here's something that's important to recognize as we stand here on the 31st of August, as we are moving into the final moment of 2019, because September through December is it's like one breath. And the question is going to be, are you breathing? And that's really potent to think about or to call in. So here's the other thing, Shri, that I think is important to share. And then I think we've shared enough of this for the radio show, because I want to talk about the 7 polarities of free will and how that's dancing. So here's what they said. I'll read this quick little segment. They said, call forward your compassionate energy. Now, that is a direct reference to the 5th dimension. So let's not forget that the 5th dimension is the dimension of compassion, all right? So call forward your compassionate energy. May your heart remember that at every level, the masculine energy is afraid and acting from the consciousness that supports experiences of masculinity. And they're saying that this is the opening. This is actually the opening to the next cycles that will carry us all through until late this year. And this is why it's important to revisit this today, because this is the energy. Pay attention. Is everything in balance? Yes. Notice how that balance is coming together. How has Kali Ma and your ego danced in August? Where has it led you? And this is extraordinarily important as we get into the wisdom of September, because here's what they say. How the masculine chooses to heal and I want to just say that again,
Mm-hmm.
how the masculine chooses to heal will directly affect the outcomes that are before us all. Now, if you're not seeing that as a sense of affirmation, then let me share with you why you should, or a sense of reassurance. What they're saying is that everything that's happening right now is because there is an active healing energy in process. So that's the gift. The gift is that the active healing energy is already in process. However, this active healing energy is neutral. And so what they're saying is that how the masculine chooses to heal. See, we're still here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still in this
Mm-hmm.
land where the 7 polarities of free will are existing. And this is why I think it's so important to see how this all winds together. Because the choice, right? Here we are in August. What was August about? It's choice, right? Awareness, experience, choice. We have a choice moving into September awareness. And so here's what they said to us 2 weeks ago, right? This choice, the August choice, is revealing itself to those who set aside the egoic presence that refuses to see as they open to the divine witnessing of the 7th dimension that lovingly sees the experience as a whole moment. So I want you to breathe it in right now. I want you to just breathe in this moment as a whole moment. Just kind of like go way out, right? Go see all the spiral here. Go way out, see the whole moment, come all the way back in. Here we are saying hi, right? That's what has opened up. And I want to just read this final piece because this is what has brought us to this wisdom bridge that has opened up in September and these 5 cosmic components. It's an extraordinarily exquisite moment. And here's what they say. They say, therefore, simultaneously supporting all dimensions and releasing toxic fear from those who are already touching the 5th dimension, greater stability to the 5th dimensional opening will pave the way for more to see. And this is the true miracle. And this is the month ahead. And this is why we're inviting everyone to kind of revisit the 7 polarities of free will.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things to remember is that these dimensional strata have a dominant quality. And for example, the 5th dimension, the dominant quality is compassion. It's very much exemplified by the teachings of Buddhism, of the kindness and the acceptance of all beings.
Yeah.
And that as we begin to accept that when we move into these states of beingness or levels of consciousness, they are associated with a dimensional frequency. So that gives us a different quality of the witnesser. And this is something we've been talking about using other words for quite some time, because consciousness, your whole evolutionary process really begins when you start to notice, oh, here I am. And then we start to witness ourselves witnessing and begin to become more empowered in our choices and the context of who we are and what we're doing. So the witnesser of the 3rd dimension becomes
the witnesser of the 5th dimension.
Is witnessing the 3rd dimensional experience and interaction. And as we move into the 7th dimensional strata, we are just in that witnessing energy.
Yeah, I love that because I love even the way you said that. I was enjoying noticing your energy. And for those of you that are watching us right now, you'll notice that we did put up the graphic that, remember, in the 3rd dimension, we are the witness. And for many, 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 many beautiful beings, simply lifting into becoming the witness of your 3rd dimensional beingness is often a very advanced spiritual step. This is the work of Eckhart Tolle. It's all about that. But when you relax through that, and become that 5th dimensional witnesser, this is, as Shri mentioned, this is the realm of the Buddha. This is the realm of compassion. And this compassion is rising into an exquisite level of empowered presence right now. This is how we have arrived at wisdom being the bridge. Now, my angels, I'm going to go back to the live camera, but forgive my husband. He's making sure everybody's happy.
I'm saying hi over at YouTube.
He's chatting away, trying to make sure you all know how much we love you. We only have 4 hands, and we're trying to get more. I'll Lakshmi it out, whatever we need to do.
Okay.
So I want to go back and just kind of close up a little bit, and I think we should start taking some of these callers because we have a very full call board. But remember, hey, you never know. Yours might be the line that kind of lights up in our auric field, 517-208-1500. So as I was with this vast information for September, and so much so that we have today's show, we have tomorrow's show, and we have the video that we're putting out, which might wind up even being a 2-parter. We're not sure yet. That's part of why it's not up yet. I clearly heard 7 polarities of free will. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, and so I went and I pulled out the chart, and you guys probably, I'm just it's on paper, but I'll just, this is just like half of it there, you can see, right? So those of you that might have taken the 7 polarities of free will with us, this was a program where we were literally downloaded with what these 7 polarities of free will are, and about how, based upon certain experiences and things that were happening, this was how those polarities were going to play out every year from 2015 through 2022. And I had not visited this since, and it's been about a month. I've been, and it's only been about the past 2 months. I've really been looking at this again.
Came back up on the screen.
Very much so. But I did more than look at the chart. I went in and I looked at the PDFs because it's a 2-class series. And what I immediately knew and shared with Sri, and he was absolutely clear that that was absolutely what it was that this program is for this moment. And let me share with you why. Number one, because those of you that have taken it in 2015, go take it. You pull out your digital files, take it again. That's the gift of our home study program, right? What you download it, you own it forever. Go take it again. For those of you that have not taken it, prepare to have your mind blown. I know my own mind was blown that every single thing that we were shared through us, because remember, it's never us, has happened, is happening, is in process. And so for this September, because of the wild ride we are on, and this wild ride is about how the masculine will choose to heal through the choice ahead, and because that wisdom piece has opened this bridge, we are at a moment where this information is really important for you to remember. Mm-hmm. And so your greatest gift through this moment, and Sri and I are going to talk about this a lot more in the second half of the show, you cannot be manipulated with if you are in one of 2 realms. So far within density that's all you see and that's all you know. That's actually a very safe place to be. That's why a lot of people go there, right? It's like, hey, I'm here in density and I'm blah, 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 right? Head in sand, I'm in density. Guess what? They actually are in a really good space, and leave them there, right? What do they say in the Lost Books of the Essene? If somebody's asleep, tuck them in. But the only other place you can be and not be subject to this energy of manipulation is in the 5th dimension. And that's why this is so important. That's why understanding the 7 polarities of free will is so important, because what Sri and I are going to talk about in the second half of the show today is how you can really stay free from that, how you can really say yes. We opened that up Thursday night on Soul Mirrors, and we started talking about this is what happens when you start taking off that cloak of invisibility, and that's tomorrow's show, because that's where we are all at right now.
Mm-hmm. It's important to recognize that the energies, the masculinity that is in a healing opportunity right now, together with these polarities of free will that we outlined a few years back, one of the things to remember is that every energy continues to have life as people live it.
Yes.
So those tensions, those polarities that first were dominant or coming forward with clarity in 2015 are still here. As a matter of which players are activating them and dancing with them.
Right.
And that but what we are referring to is what is the dominant flow. And whenever I hear that masculinity or the toxic masculinity is going to be healed, what opens for me is the recognition that we're moving from that controlling, dominating energy, that hierarchical energy, into the empowered feminine, which is one that is more characterized by inclusiveness, by honoring the flow and and all voices to be heard, and recognizing that we are all here together as one family, not in division through the polarities.
Well, Sri, can I expand on that with you for
Yeah,
a moment? Because a lot of you may remember that also in August, it was, it straddled Shravan, which was this power-filled month, a very, very big month of Shiva. And we had talked about this, that with the rise of the Kali Ma and the invitation to really empower, when we empower ourselves enough, the ego wants to relax. The ego is delighted to relax. And the ego is like, well, this is so much easier. You mean I can sit in the back seat and get all of my needs met, and you can deal with the traffic? Sign me up, right? And that's what we forget. We resist, and then when that magical pop happens, and we have been in a lot of pop energy, and it's going to get bigger, because remember that August 15th opened up the second and last cycle within a cycle of 2019, and that's going to bridge us all the way until November 5th, we're going to have that other Mercury retrograde. So September is also literally a bridge month of energy. And when we walk into these awareness months, it means that there is an invitation to become aware. Which means it's about a lift. And because of what's happening and the way that the energies are coming together, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow, this is a moment for a rapid shift, a rapid lift. And that is why everything is becoming so intense.
Wow, that kind of takes my breath away.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity is there for those who choose it, those who recognize that I am.
Right.
And this healing process that's going on is healing the energies. That it doesn't matter whether the energy is presently housed in a female body or a male body or an institution, for example. Every entity has the energies that it works with, the energies that it transmits, and it's important to recognize that the healing opportunity permeates. And that rigidity perpetuates. So there's this interesting dialectic between allowing in the healing flow versus trying to grip on tightly to the need to control that which was or that which you hope will be. So there is an interesting harmonic balance that is upon us. September offers us that opportunity to really bring our wisdom online.
Well, and Shri, as you were sharing, what was really intriguing me as I was tuning in and connecting with what you were sharing was that rich moment of awareness that is before us all due to the choice. Remember that we are here. This whole month has been this whole rise of Kali, the empowered energy, the checking in on the ego. And, we started talking about this Thursday night. Shri and I, literally, as many of you know, were not here last weekend because we received information that was very clear that we needed to go in and be with. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. But if you did not connect with all of that, please watch the past 2 episodes of Soul Mirrors, because the ensoulment that we left with was very clear that we are in a moment where the energy of our own divine presence is the greatest gift we have. And I want to read just one sentence. Can I, Shri?
Yeah.
Because the divine directors are just so extraordinary. It blows my mind. So here's what they said. And I won't read all of this because this is in the other video, but here's what they said. The first and critical step of regaining balance is to forgive and love that which arose through the darkest night. Oof. Now, I want you to really breathe that in. And the way it came in was forgive and love were almost like one word. Forgive and love. It's not like one or the other. It's like you got to have both, right? And that can only come from an empowered, compassionate energy. See, when we are in our 5th dimensional compassionate space, to forgive and love becomes obvious. And when we really ignite that 7th dimensional lack of judgment And that balance, remember, balance is my guide, balance is my mastery, balance is my protection. Where did you take that week, right? That hasn't stopped. We've just begun. So I loved your reference earlier to the Buddha.
Yes.
And to the compassionate energy that is before us right now. And I just want to say one more thing, that they say to remember that through the experience, the wisdom and strength to return to balance the imbalance arises. So now really breathe that in the context of the September Wild Ride. This month, the wisdom is a gift. It really feels like a gift to me from the universe that's saying, no matter where you are on the journey, no matter where you think you are, no matter who you think you are, no matter what you're doing, we're going to give you the opportunity to literally peek beyond the veil. And we're going to make this really easy, right? We're just going to make it really easy. And this is a gift. And this gift is not going to last. It's kind of like a limited time offer, right? It's not going to last forever. But it is a moment where the more people that harvest it, September harvest, and then work through these cosmic components that you'll see in our other video, the more that we can do that, then it doesn't matter if the channel doesn't remain open for forever. If we carry it within, that's how we will find our way home again. You see, there's always another way. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of feel like the Underground Railroad, right? There is always another way as long as your heart is remaining pure and you are in that sincerity, love, and presence.
You know, these are universal reminders. You know, it's just what is consistent on your path of expansion. The more often we are residing in sincerity, love, and presence, the more often we are living a life of miracles fulfilled. And one of the things I was remembering about August is we spoke early August about how this energy would ignite more opportunity for egoic absorption.
Exactly.
And we touched on that early in the show.
The polarity, right?
And so while we have the awakening, we also have the absorbed ego seeking to control and manipulate. And as you look out in the world of density, there certainly have been many events that have come forward.
Oh, yeah.
That have here's the poster child for that level of need to control and push the agenda. And I don't need to go into that right now, other than I'm kind of stunned as I look out at the different countries in the world that are vocal and on the world theater on how that energy is expressing. And so, you know what? We have people standing by.
We have so many people standing by, and Sri, you know, it's there's so much happening, and so we're going to go right here. It looks like we're going to go to Kansas City. All right, hey, Kansas City, namaste, welcome.
Hey, dear. Okay.
Okay. We'll try you again later. All right, Sri, let's go to, it looks like Brentwood, New York. Okay, we're going to go to Brentwood, New York. Namaste. Welcome, Brentwood.
Aloha.
Aloha. Namaste, beloved angel. Welcome.
Aloha.
Aloha. We can hear you just fine.
It's very hard to hear you, but I can see you.
Okay. Well, turn down your radio. Sometimes that helps because we can hear you just fine.
Is that better?
We can hear you just fine,
Go
sweetheart.
ahead and ask your question and share.
How can we serve you?
Okay. Okay, wonderful. I am just looking for perhaps a mini solar reading.
Well, thank you for asking. And we're going to go ahead and mute your line while I give that to you so that you can relax and so that we can all receive. And I'm really smiling that you're our first caller here today and that you were actually the second person that we had to open up a line for, because the message that's coming in around you, which is also very much about this bridge energy that's coming in, is that when we stop trusting ourselves, everything becomes cluttered or congested would be the word that I want to give you. And it almost begins to feel like interference. And what they're saying around you is that you are at a bold moment, and that this bold moment is being ignored because there is this little piece inside of you that is still not fully trusting you. And so it's right here, and it's right in like the upper third chakra. And so I'm just off camera. My hand is just off camera there, but I have my hand on this area. And I'm going to invite you to do the same thing. And I'm going to ask all of you that may want to really look at this compassionate empowerment, to bringing in that energy right now and to clear out all that would seek to stop you from your greater clarity, to bring your hands there as well. And as we do, the only thing I keep hearing, and I feel this huge Yeshua presence behind me. I mean, huge. I've never felt him quite this big. And he just keeps laughing and smiling as he's saying, love them. They know not what they do. Laugh with me and let us walk forward.
Wow.
And so it is.
Many, many blessings, dear. And because there seems to be a little volume issue on the call board, we did turn off the line. I trust that you received the message, and all of you present connected with this energy.
I'm dizzy. I've never had this Yeshua experience before, but you know, Shri, you guys feel it, right? I feel like he's still here. And the reason I'm saying he is not even really correct. This is more very much a Christed energy, but it doesn't surprise me because this is that moment. September is that moment whereby compassion, real compassion that begins with loving and forgiving even in our darkest night, right? That's going to be the fuel that will keep us into this beautiful fifth dimensional container, thereby assisting us all to walk the bridge from the 7th to the 9th. Beautiful, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm excited. I think
Yes.
it's going to be an outrageously amazing month. And Shri, who's next in our beautiful call board here?
Well, let's give a try here. We're going to head to New Jersey.
New Jersey. All right. Hey,
And,
namaste, New Jersey. Welcome.
Whoops.
Uh-oh.
I don't see
Nope.
you. No, I don't see her talking.
Okay.
I think there is a little trouble
Well, you
with...
know, okay. Oh, there we are. Hey, New Jersey?
Okay.
Okay, I think the delay. I think that's the issue today.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting us hear the delay. So I really think at this point, you know, we're good. Maybe let me jump over. We have a couple of emails that had come in as well, Shri. And so really, I also want to just really continue this dialogue about the Kali Ma ego moment. And everything that happened in August, you know, we had so much that has happened between the Lionsgate opening, the August 15th mid-month conjunction. And if we look at, and I know that Shri and I do invite you to perhaps not be as attached to news cycles, but I think no matter where you are, we are at a moment where there is an energy that wants you to move from fear to terror. And one of the things that Shri and I will be talking about in the video that I will share with you right now was that the divine directors were very, very clear. And they looked at Shri and I and they said, remember that when someone is afraid, they will give up their power. Mm-hmm. But when someone is terrified, they will give up their soul. And that this is what we are looking at in that third dimensional, you know, the one I'm telling you that's just right there is this goopy fourth dimension third coagulation is loving this kind of soupy, I've been referring to it as the fear dimension lift. And this fear dimension is now getting ready. This is the wild ride of September. And imagine, how do I describe this without it? I really, my heart does not want you to be concerned about what I'm sharing. I really want to share it in a way that it's fully intended. And so let me just share what they're showing me. Can I do that, Shri?
Please
okay,
do.
so it's beautiful. The divine directors are showing me right now this beautiful, I feel like we're in old Venice. Right? And we're all there with our little masks, and you know, the women have the big skirts and the men look amazing, and the hats and the wigs and the masks, and everything's gold. Everything's gold, 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 gold. And they just keep showing this to me. And they're saying, now come here. And we're all gathering around like this circle, like an opening in the roof, and there's like this gold I don't know, fencing around it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Railing.
we're all kind of looking down, and a lot of us are looking down with our mask on, and we're looking down and going, wow, that's beautiful. And it's like you're watching your greater mission. You're watching you. And they're saying, now take off your mask and notice what shifts. And I'm watching as a lot of you are doing this, and this is that cloak of invisibility they've been talking about. And they're saying that you've always seen this. You have always known this was coming. You have always had this sixth sense, and that September and this choice moment are a blessing, because as we were talking about earlier, this is all about healing. This is about that ultimate healing, and as they said right here, about the courage to return to balance the imbalance. Yes. Right? I mean, that is just such a profoundly powerful moment that's very rich when we can love ourselves enough to do that. And to remember, guys, that it is the August choice. And this is why we keep coming back to this, right? Really pay attention. It is this August choice, because whether you know it or not, you're making a choice right now. And you've been making it, but your full energy field is going to anchor it through this next phase of time. And that this is going to give you an opportunity for a much more rapid and much more accelerated awakening. And I think what's important to remember here, Shri, is that even that energy is highly contrasting, because that rapid and accelerated awakening is also happening without any boundary, meaning we are in the allness. So everything is rapidly accelerating and awakening.
The rapid acceleration means that things could get kind of heated up.
A wild ride.
And those that have agendas or self-serving agendas could be amplified, as will the opportunity for an expansion into inclusiveness, the expansion of the kindness, the compassion zone, and the zone of deep peace.
Yeah.
Because those relate to the dimensional frequencies that will carry you forward.
Nice.
So it's real important that one of the things that we do as individuals is to continually reflect and make a choice based upon our awareness and our experience, so that we are in a forward momentum in the evolutionary path.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a beautiful gift. What a beautiful gift indeed. And you know, my angels, here's the blessing, is that within the experience that we are all having right now, I mean, literally right now, it is important to remember, and Shri, I want to share one more thing, because it really is quite on the target for this moment right now. And that is that they're saying September is also going to be assisting all of the open dimensional fields of energy to flourish through the awareness experience coming forward through this bridge of energy. And so that's really a moment of mastery, is it not? You know, that moment of mastery is when we can lift ourselves up into the divine gift that we are, and really without judgment allow and invite ourselves to smile and love them. They know not what they do, right? Whether you're an internet troll in our chat room, whether you're someone else in the world just spreading whatever energy you want, the gift is that the allness will support you to do that. And when we can lift into our mastery and love that as what it is, all forms of expression, a densified realm of expression will always publicly share something inspiring to help you become less inspired. Let's put it that way. And so the gift of that is choice. And here we are in August. We're in choice. It's perfect.
You know, and I want to come back to a very powerful statement that was shared via the divine directors.
Please.
And that is that when people are afraid, they give away their power.
Yes, they do.
Now, one of the ways they give away their power is to align with those that they feel are more powerful.
Right.
You know, and to align where it's the safety in numbers kind of thing. and to allow the so-called authority to start defining what they do and what they believe and what they are. But then this expansion of that fear is that when people, are terrified, when the amplitude of the fear has reached the point of I really cannot bear it, that's terror, then people will sell their soul.
Well, and again, this is, I really find this very powerful, that when you are afraid, you will give away your power. And when you are terrified, you will give away your soul. And that recognition is one that can only exist in density. Because fear, terror, a sense of loss are all density concepts. Yet, if you are fully anchored in density, there's actually a safety in knowing that, right? It's almost times like it's the pain that I know. And I do want to give a shout out right now while Sri and I are here, while we still have a moment, that hi, namaste, and beautiful blessings to Jim Onak at Epoch Lasers, who just left us here in Ecuador. And we are so excited because Jim, along with our dear friends Silvana and Patrick and Sri and I, are very, very blessed that we are going to be moving forward with a free clinic for the indigenous here. A lot of other things are happening at Tosa Blue Mountain. We've been blessed to have some other property come in to do that. So I'm sharing that with you because, number one, we were talking about pain. Right. And I was just thinking about how much better we feel because, oh my gosh, does his stuff work? Crazy amazing. But I'm also excited that we are at this moment on the planet where when we take action through our wisdom-based experiences, miracles come forward. And this was the last thing that I was going to read was, I'm not going to read it word for word right now because I really think it's best left there. But they're talking about that it is your experience right now that you're going to want to hold as a torch of wisdom. And that as we move forward into September, this is a moment where that torch of wisdom will illuminate all, including yourself. Where this is the moment where when we say yes to ourselves, when we step into the harvest and the bounty of September, when we know that wisdom is the bridge, when we can say yes in conscious awareness to the choice that has come before us now, then the wild ride ahead is extraordinary.
Wisdom is the guiding energy for your choices and your actions, because when it's very obvious, yet it's very subtle. Often the brain and who's choosing has a guidebook.
Right.
And the guidebook is either blinders from the past, meaning I'll follow the certain dogmatic traditions, or it's awareness of your own experience, meaning awareness of the wisdom that has birthed through your consciousness.
Whew.
And when wisdom births through the consciousness, you're then in authentic alignment with your heart, your soul, why you took birth.
Yeah.
And so there's an interesting dynamic that occurs there. When we see the uptick of available wisdom, are you accepting that? Are you acting on that? Meaning, are you willing to integrate things that you didn't know were there? Because this is part of the courage that it takes to live an awake life, is to integrate that which has come forward rather than deny it so that we can stay in a comfort zone.
But yet there is a safety in the comfort zone.
The comfort zone is stable.
And this is
safe,
something to look right. This is what we need to be looking at this month is that opportunity of, okay, through that wisdom, right? Because that's what Sri was just offering you, is this extraordinary wisdom. So through that wisdom, through that level of discernment, there is the awakened choice that moves us to the next level of awareness. And remember, September is an awareness propulsion. So the heartbeat, remember, behind everything in September, there's going to be awareness. So whenever we are in a moment of awareness, it means that we are being invited to our next level. We're being invited to next, this is like next level stuff. Yeah, it's going to happen all month long because October is experience. And so this is a really momentous month. It is a month to love yourself enough and to recognize that when we can love and forgive through the darkest night, that is where true wisdom begins. That is when we are anchored up in that seventh dimensional presence. And I do want to just say, Shri, that I'm very humbled and honored that we had one caller that we were able to get through with today, and that this huge Christo energy. I've never felt this. Are you? My cheeks. I am so warm and hot right now, and it's huge, and it looks to me very much like the one we have here at Tosa Blue Mountain. Yeah. I feel like in many ways this is the Christo at Tosa Blue Mountain talking to all of you and sending out this radiance of reassurance that September is an extraordinary moment to flourish, and there is a choice to be made, and that is how you choose to flourish. If you give in to that which seeks to manipulate your power, it will. And we have so much more to share about this. I really, with all my heart and soul, encourage you to make a note right now to join us tomorrow at noon Pacific time. And guys, earlier you and I started talking about the 7 polarities of free will, and we forgot to tell you, get it, that the one thing Shri and I were very clear on was that we're just pretty much giving it away. It is $11 for everything. It is on our homepage at our website. It is at our website. It is at YouTube when it comes on.
Here's your Labor Day weekend promotion.
Do it, whatever.
Take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, and we're being tongue in cheek, but we're going to be able to make this available for $11 through 9/11. And yes, we picked that date intentionally because that's the energy that's going to try to call you away from that 7th to 9th dimensional bridge. It's going to be that constant state of alarm. And by really understanding the 7 polarities of free will, by really standing in your mastery choice, and please join us tomorrow so we can share more with you. Please watch the video we're going to be putting out at YouTube. But by just saying yes, right? And this is why we started talking about this Thursday night, right? This is what happens when you say yes. None of this other stuff is going to matter. You'll fly right through it.
One of the things that's kind of been rolling around in my head the last few minutes is we started off the show saying, as we were tuning in and aligning with these energies, there felt like there was this vastness.
Yeah.
And I feel this vast energy emanating forward, seeding those who say yes to the willingness to be seated, to bring forth a new wisdom. I invite you to kind of be with the energy of this show, to kind of be with the vastness that is upon us, because wisdom is not a logical process. Wisdom is not a math problem where there's a right answer.
You know what I mean?
And the vastness is an expansion of the context of your life, that when we begin to move outside of one little box, one little way of thinking, one little way of being, and we begin, evolutionary, we begin to move from family to community to country to the globe to cosmos. There's this expansion of inclusiveness that is associated with a more ascended, wise perspective.
Yeah.
So what happens when we really lean into our trust of the universe? There is a moment of everything falls away. And in that moment, we can then lean into our soul's wisdom, which will guide us through the vastness, which will guide us through the little uprising of fear that may be like a knee-jerk reaction of the ego states that you've identified with in the past. The fear is something to smile at. It's not something to identify with. It's to say, oh, look at that. There's a part of me that is uncertain.
And that's a practice of the 5th dimension.
Yes.
No, I want to interrupt that, because so many people say, how do I know I'm in the 5th dimension? Exactly that way. And then that sense of compassion that comes in during that moment.
Compassion for yourself.
Exactly. That's a 5th dimensional experience.
Because the inner child is part and parcel that egoic lens that says, what about me?
Right.
And so it's important that we remember all of the skills and all of the learnings that have gone through every stage of our development. Nothing is outgrown. It's called upon as it is needed.
That's like wisdom. Yep. Oh, hey, they say we're one mind. But that really is the wisdom, isn't it, Shri? And that is September. And I really enjoy very, very much, and we have so much more to share on tomorrow's show, and of course in our September predictions video getting posted up at YouTube, official Shri and Kira. But I really enjoy that they talk about Your wisdom is the key that ignites your torch of experience, and to hold that high. Because as we make these choices, as we walk into September, as that Lion's Gate opening, let us not forget that the cosmic universe responded to Mother Gaia, who opened up. Remember, Mother Gaia opened up this beautiful vortality energy, and the cosmic universe met it. We are, and this is what is kind of like holding that energy together for us all to have that little peak right now. And so for all of us who say yes to that, let us not waste a moment. Look at the earth and say thank you. Look at the ones you love and love them even more. Hold yourself and say, I love you. Smile that you're breathing right now. Let go of everything else. Just smile that you're breathing right now. And illuminate your life with the torch of your experiences, for they are the wisdom that has ignited your bridge to be able to navigate the dimensions and call forward your mastery at a moment when this particular planet is asking you to remember how beautiful you are.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. I just love that.
So do I.
And as we lean into that as a prayer, as an intention, we then find ourselves kind of circling back. There are parts that we carry that you might categorize as the toxic masculine. And as you see those energies arise, that need to control, that fear-based hierarchical thinking, you smile at that and love it and allow it to soften. As the empowered mother comes forward ever more fully in your own life, and is willing to set some boundaries, is willing to love yourself with ferocity, then comes forward the wisdom that will be the bridge to carry one through the intensity that is coming in September. A bridge, think of that metaphor. A bridge is over the waters. A bridge is over the canyon. A bridge is the pathway of your safety that is created through the wisdom of your soul.
Oh, I love that. A bridge is a pathway of safety created through the wisdom of your soul, which is why your soul is a gift. And remember that your soul is ready to lead the way, and Kali Ma came in August to invite you to say yes.
Yes. So, beloved ones, we say blessings, a big hug of a namaste to you as we come to a close today. Breathe. Trust your soul. Allow the beauty to come forward, and we look forward to sharing more with you tomorrow at Shri and Kira Live, and you'll find it at the official Shri and Kira YouTube station.
We love you.
Namaste.
Namaste.